Hey pot, meet, kettle. The pot calling the kettle black. Where does that originate? So this modern idiom started with William Penn, one of the fathers of Philadelphia, who sits atop his statue of City Hall, Philadelphia. So he said, William Penn, Billy, we call him Billy Penn, the pot to call the kettle black, the pot is sooty. You are sooty. Another Philadelphia father said some interesting things about people. He called them swarthy. That would be Ben Franklin. Ben, all about the Benjamins, the original ditty. I want to talk about Benjamin Franklin at another time. But because Philadelphia factors in what's in the pot, what's in your pot, we have a cannoli. If you know, you know. Reading Street Terminal, anyone? And, of course, a pretzel. Do you have any Grey Poupon? Because you have to put mustard on it. But I wanted to get into the subject of hypocrisy. I was looking into it, and we are experiencing peak hypocrisy at this time. What is hypocrisy really? I know the ancient example that Jesus gave as a warning to his followers and disciples is to be careful not to fall into the pattern of the Pharisees and the scribes. They were peak hypocrites. Oh, woe to the Pharisees and the scribes. O ye hypocrites. And he warned his followers about hypocrisy. And hypocrisy can be subtle. We all have been hypocritical. Some people more so than others. And what is it at the root of hypocrisy, and how can we avoid being hypocrites? I looked into some things, I was compiling notes, and it just seems like, to distill it, hypocrisy is couched in self-deception. So self-deception basically being delulu and having a big ego. What a recipe for disaster. So having double standards. So a double-minded person, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. That's another scripture warning about being double-minded. So if we have flaws that are massive, and then we see flaws in someone who aren't so massive, but we have great criticism for them, and we have big elephants in the room, to hide. But it is a deflection or projection, all that stuff. And basically being egotistical, having too much pride. And in this modern culture, pride is celebrated. But in the heart of a believer, especially if you are a child of the Most High Yah, we have to check our hearts when we find ourselves having that cognitive dissonance, you could say, double-mindedness. One of the ways to find true north, of course, is to go to the scriptures, which are inspired and breathed by the Most High Yah, and get into prayer. And just be honest, like take an honest review, look in the mirror at ourselves. So that's the basic tea on hypocrisy. It is really about having reciprocity when we're dealing with who is to blame for everything, right? Why we can't have good things, nice things in this culture and society. We have to just be honest with ourselves, and everybody look in the mirror and get out of Babylon. Anyway, I want to talk more about some of these subjects like hypocrisy and stuff like that. I've been doing a lot of fiber arts and having fun and teaching the littles, like lessons. And that could be a lesson, like, the whole thing about hypocrisy. There's a way to teach young people how to avoid that ego-centered way of just looking out for yourself or for your self-interest and not being concerned with how it impacts others, and also having standards that are objective across the board. Nobody gets a pass to be a bad boy for life, okay? It doesn't work out well. It's not a good retirement plan, is it? We'll talk about a lot of this stuff that's going on because I have some theories about the fall of the Black Boule, and I really tie it to Diddy and also another Sean, but I want to get into that a little bit later. I just want to put some of these things I've been looking into just together. And I don't know, Philadelphia seems to factor in. Philadelphia is very important because it is the birthplace of the Black Boule. So it would be interesting that the fall of the Black Boule would involve some Philadelphians. I've been observing some of the Philadelphians that have been speaking out, and they are making a difference. Their voice is important, okay? I want to see if you agree, but I'll talk about that at another time. But in the meantime, in between, we will just continue to enjoy our tea and look into our hearts and be honest. Thank you. Humility. It's about humility. I know that's not celebrated, to be humble in this culture, but humility will prevent hypocrisy in our hearts. So we either humble ourselves or get humbled. It's a choice. That's the tea.